Hello. I am very glad to be with you again today. Today is the 8th. I wanted to record this video yesterday on the 7th and have it posted on the 8th, but today's the 8th and I'm here like I said I would be. Anyway, just wanted to jump in. I had a question on Instagram about going into the new year with self-confidence. Y'all know I posted last week, made a video last week about your goals and your visions, possibly doing vision boards, or if you want to do scripting, those types of things, just kind of planning your future, planning your goals, planning out the things that you want and desire, kind of getting those things settled in. Somebody was just chatting with somebody, and then they brought up the fact of self-confidence, because I mean, it does take self-confidence in order to get into your goals. Like it's nice to like have goals and all that, but if you don't really believe, like, if it's hard for you to kind of like gather up that belief in yourself, it is definitely even harder for you to get to those goals, because like self-belief is the first step before you can see yourself at those goals, before you can see yourself achieving everything that's on that vision board or whatever you want for the new year, or for the future of your life in general. It may be a long-term plan, a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, whatever. You can't even envision that without some sort or some level of self-confidence. So the question came up of, how do we go into the new year with self-confidence? So I was like, let me just, and let's address that today, because it's something that's very important. It's something that doesn't come easy for many of us. Self-confidence does not come easy for many of us. There have been so many situations throughout life that have broke down our self-confidence. When you come into the world, as a child, you're new, you're fresh, you believe you can do anything. You can watch some toddlers, they'll jump off a table, they'll touch the stove, it doesn't matter. They believe they can do anything, and you can't tell them otherwise until they get that experience. But besides just those experiences of don't touch the stove because it's hot, or don't jump off the table because you might break your leg, some other things happen to us that are that shouldn't happen, and then it breaks down our self-esteem to a level of we feel unsafe about things that are that we shouldn't feel unsafe about. We feel unsafe in areas where we should feel secure. We feel unsafe in areas where we should feel built up. That should be normal for us to believe in ourselves and just trust ourselves. We begin to get that broken down over the years through many different circumstances. We won't go through all that today. I do teach and talk to people about that, but it's a long, in-depth topic, that requires some weeks of going through. But we can have our internal gauge, our self-confidence broken down to the point where we can't even believe in ourselves and believe for the things and the goals that we want and the things that we desire. So very important. I was so thankful for that question from someone on my Instagram, and I wanted to just address that and just talk through that in a kind of short version with you guys. We won't be here all day. I'm going to try to keep it short and sweet, and if y'all want more on the topic or some specific aspect of the topic, we'll get back into it. Just let me know in the comments, no problem. But I think told y'all I had a vision board party with some people that I personally know, and then I had a New Year, I did like a virtual New Year's gathering with some people from all over the world. Actually, not all over the country, but all over the world. That was really fun. But we were talking about things that had happened over the last year, and how I live in the United States, for anybody that doesn't, but just things have changed here. Things have changed globally for all of us. Things have been changing rapidly globally for the past since 2020, but so much going on in the world. And we were just kind of going over some of the highlights of the year, things that had happened countrywide, worldwide, all of that. And I just noticed like there's a sense of, everybody doesn't go into the new year with like, oh, I'm happy. Some people go into the new year with, I'm scared, with like right now, everybody's posting about, oh my God, eggs are like $6. Like, where a carton of eggs used to be like $1 or something, So there's so many things, and like you can't down anybody for being a little apprehensive about going into the new year, going into new steps, because there are so many things happening in the world, and we have to address that. I'm always a person that believes in not glossing over my fears, but addressing those fears, thinking about those fears, honoring any challenges that you have internally. You don't just gloss over what you're feeling because you want to stay positive. That's the best way to crush your soul, is glossing over things because you want to stay positive. You have to deal with things. You have to begin to develop a plan where you can feel more confident, even though things around you may not be as they should be, whether it's globally in the world, globally in your country, or even globally in your family. You might have some family problems, that are going on. Nothing's ever going to be 100% perfect, but we have to have that inner radar that, you know what, I can move forward. I can navigate things. I can trust myself that whatever happens around me, I'm going to find a place of peace. I'm going to find a way to get to my goals. And that is something that we have to learn. We have to cultivate all those things, because life is not an easy task. It becomes easier after you learn the steps to maintaining. But they would always give the example of a thermostat versus a thermometer. And we have to get to that place and just kind of build. And it's a process, and it's okay if you're not there yet. Keep holding on. Stay with me. I'll help you. We'll get there together, But a thermostat versus a thermometer is this. A thermometer just lets you know what's going on around. It's 50 degrees in here. Okay, it's 70 degrees outside. It's 100 degrees outside and I'm dying. The thermometer just reads what's going on. And many of us do live in thermometer mode, as in, oh my God, whatever's going on, I'm scared. Whatever's going on, I feel a victim to it. Whatever is going on, around me, I feel, unsafe because of it. And we live in that place for so long. Sometimes many of us have went through things as children, as young adults, that were damaging to us, deeply damaging and deeply hurtful to us. And we got in that mode. But as you become an adult and you begin to move further, that does not take away from your trauma. It still happened, but it's on us as adults to learn to heal and to move through these things and have the motivation and desire to want to do so. It's not an easy journey. Like I said, we don't gloss over feelings. I don't gloss over my feelings. I don't gloss over the things that I've been through, because some of them have been terrible. But you have to realize that as an adult, we have to begin to move forward. We have to begin to be invested in our own healing, because the things that have happened in our past, we can't change those things. Many of us, we did absolutely nothing to deserve it, to bring it upon ourselves. No matter how much guilt you may feel, you did absolutely nothing to bring it upon yourself. But it happened. It was where it was. It was where it was. And we have to begin to heal through that process. Whether that's through counseling or whatever you need to do to get to that place. But we have to start at a place where we say, I want to heal now. And from that place of I want to heal now, I'm going to do what it takes to invest in my own healing. We have to make sure that we are no longer being that thermometer. I'm just, whatever's going on around me, that's how I find myself, swaying with the wind, whatever goes on around me. I made a post I did a reel yesterday, I think it was on Instagram, about just basically how people will have opinions of us. And it's easy for us to go with those opinions, Oh, somebody thinks I'm not smart enough. I don't feel smart enough. Somebody thinks I don't look good. I feel like I don't look good. Somebody tells you, makes sometimes people make backhanded comments, or backhanded compliments, excuse me. And you thought you looked good when you went out the house, and then somebody made a backhanded comment or something. Or, your dress got stuck on one side when you came out of the bathroom, and now you feel bad because you feel like your whole outfit is ruined because somebody's seen you, with your dress stuck up the side, half of your butt out or something like that. We can't be thermometers. We can't just go by whatever they're saying around us or whatever is going on the outside, because the outside will always be changing. When you have that thermostat mentality, the thermostat controls the temperature. So when you want something to change in your life, when you come in the house and the temperature's not feeling right, you just got off a long day at work and you want to come in and you want it at a certain temperature. If it's summertime, you're going to turn that air on. You're going to drop it down. And you're going to get that air going because you're like, oh my God, I'm just hot. I just came from the car to the house and I almost died. You're not going to just settle for the temperature that's existing in your house while you've been gone all day. You've worked a hard day. You're hot. You're tired. All of the above. You pay the light bill. You control the temperature. And we have to feel more like that about our lives. this internal light bill, this internal light bill, this internal feeling, how our life goes, how we feel about ourselves, all those things, we pay the light bill. So we determine and we control how the temperature should be moving along. But we have to get that mindset first. And we have to kind of wrap that around our heads, because it's so hard when you have been forced to live in a thermometer-like situation. Whatever is going on around me. Sometimes, like when we're young, those pressures are so heavy. The damage that's been done is so severe that you begin to just kind of live in that mode of, okay, I have to shift with what other people are doing and saying. But when you become an adult, you're coming into your own, you're coming into realization, all those things, we have to take that power back, and we have to begin to control what goes on around us. And more so than anything else, the most important thing is how we feel about ourselves, because everything else will come from there, will come out from there, of how we feel about ourselves. And like I said, it's a journey, but it's a worthwhile journey, and it's a journey that can be taken and you can get to. I don't like to say destination. I don't know if I talked with y'all any of this last time, but everything is ongoing. Everything is always ongoing with me. That's why I don't do the resolutions thing, because I do like goals and, you know, try to plan at intervals, all of that, because I don't feel like, I know there's no end result. Even when it's the new year, I'm not like, oh, it's the new year, my life is going to be different this year. I don't do that. I try. I have downs like everybody else, but I try to, like, every day be progressing. I try to frequently reflect. We talked about my journaling, probably too much journaling, too much writing that I do. I try to check in with myself continuously. I don't care whether it's January, I don't care whether it's April, I don't care if it's August. I try to check in with myself continuously, because each day is a new day. Every day that we wake up, we open our eyes, it's a new day. It's a new year for me today. You know, it was a new year for me 1 month ago today. Every time we wake up and we have a new chance, it's a new year. So we have to continue to go in that mode of, I'm going to progress, and I don't have to wait till a certain time to do it. I can start it right now, and that starts from the inside. So I would say, like, just to address the self-confidence issue, we have to know ourselves first, and that's where most of us kind of have gotten off. As I said, the same thing when you're kind of forced into molds. You're forced into whatever situation you're living in when you're younger. Sometimes people have like a moderately okay childhood, and then they'll get older into adulthood, and then they'll have like a really bad relationship that just kind of crushes their self-worth. That can happen as well, you know, cracks in the foundation, and you just get that one partner just kind of destroys you. All of those things can happen to us. But we have to go back and learn ourselves. If you find out that you're in a place where you don't have the self-confidence that you need and that you desire, it comes from learning yourself. Because if I know myself, I can be confident in myself. And I would say step one is just to address, like, what do you like? It seems simple. It seems really, really simple. What do you like? But it's not that simple. Because a lot of things that we like is based on what we have done with other people. I used to, not me personally, but just saying, like, oh, you know, my family wanted me to play soccer or something like that. You know, my family wanted me to play basketball and anything. My family always did this on intervals. Different things that your family may have done together as a family, you know, thing, but maybe you didn't really like it. You know, maybe you never really liked it. Maybe you're 40 years old right now and you're still like doing that thing, partaking of that thing. Maybe there's an organization that your family has always been a part of, and your family was a stand-up family in this organization, and you've just been going since you were young because that's where y'all go. You know, that's where we go. You know, it's a family thing, and it's not really connected with you. So that's why I say you have to find out what you like. Sometimes we take on things from partners that we are with, you know, their likes, their dislikes, you know, all those things. My ex-husband was really like into shoes, so I had all the shoe websites. I never really bought them for myself, but he liked them, so I had all the little shoe apps and websites, and I would look into all that. sometimes we can, take on things from other people just that we are with, and that we spend a lot of time with people that we love, but it may have never been something that we really, really, really like. So you have to go through your life, go through the things that you do, the things that you participate in, see what's helping you grow, see what's something that's just stagnant, that you've just been doing it just because. You've just been doing it just because, maybe you feel that's what you're supposed to do. Maybe that's what a person of your age and your looks, or your social group, you feel like that's what y'all are supposed to do. We don't do that. That's not what's building us up to self-confidence. That's what's keeping us stuck and stagnant and not feeling the life that we need to feel on the inside in order for us to get where we need to be. You have to break out of those things. Again, my journals, that's over here. Journaling through that. What makes you happy? What makes you feel alive? What do you like? If you had, a weekend to do whatever and nobody was bothering you, or you could just be with the person you love, or you could just be with with your kids, and you had any choice to do anything, what would you do? Find out what you like. Do that introspection. And if it's something that you do that you don't like, find out why you don't like it and find a way to get rid of it. You have to look into you. Next, you need to address, what do you bring to the world? We all bring something to the world. There's not anyone that doesn't bring something to the world. Doesn't matter how much of we may consider certain people bad people, or, oh, this person is, like the worst of the worst. Everybody brings something to the world. Now, what we choose to do with that influence, like you can have a business person who goes out there and sells cars, or you can have a marketing person that works for one of the top marketing firms and does advertising, all those types of things. Or you could have that same type of mentality in a person who may steal, rob, scam people. They have so many scams online, scamming people out of money. Those are the exact same skills that it takes to be like a marketing type of person, as well as to get somebody to give you their credit card number, or their personal information, and you don't really know that person. Those are the same types of skills that it takes to do those same two jobs. One is just what we consider legal and ethical, and one is what we consider illegal, unethical. They have so many scams of, especially like elder people getting scammed out of their retirement funds and all of this, because people said, oh, I'm this financial planner, I'm that financial planner, and this is my website, and if you give me your retirement, I'll triple it so you can give something to your grandkids. So out of love and out of trust and wanting to do right by their family and their grandkids, they forked over the money. Those are the exact same skill set. So everybody has skills. It doesn't matter how small. If your skill set is being a stay-at-home parent and taking care of your kids and making sure they grow up to be the best person that they can be, and that they're not going through, the negative experiences, unnecessary negative experiences that you may have had. You're a caring person, all those types of things. You're a writer. You may be, you may draw. Whatever you do, we all have something that we contribute to the world. And we need to start focusing on, what do I contribute to the world? Because as long as you think you don't contribute anything to the world, as long as you think, I'm just to this, I'm just to that, I'm just a nurse, I'm just a stay-at-home mom, whatever, I'm just a construction worker. As long as you think I'm just, and you make small of your contribution to the world, that's always going to affect your self-esteem. I'm not saying I should feel like, oh, I'm out here saving the world, but in some way, in some very small form, I am contributing to the world. I am adding to the world. And we have to feel that, just to know that we should feel good about the gifts and the talents that we have. What do you want? This goes back to, what do you like? But more, I feel like more, what do you like is more like, what do you like to do? What are the things that make you happy? What do you want goes to those goals that we were speaking of, those visions that we have for our life. So if you did the vision board, if you did the goal setting, all those things, that speaks to, what do you want? What do you want? Not what anybody else said was appropriate for you to have, or what you should have by this age, or what you should have by that age, or what your neighbor down the street has, or none of that. What do you want? And you have to go through your life. You have to go through your mindset. You have to go through your mentality and figure out what are things that I'm going after because somebody else said I should. And what are things I'm going after because this is truly what I desire and this is what makes me happy. And it doesn't mean, you know, oh, go quit your job because it's horrible. But if it's that horrible, make a plan, you know. Seek some other avenues. Seek some other things that may fulfill you in the long run. It's not even about rash decisions. We have to begin to learn ourselves. And then we have to begin acting upon those things that we've learned. So you have to figure out what do you want and kind of put to the side those things that are not what you want and begin to try to reorchestrate your life to go towards the things that you do want. How do I go about getting those things now that I found out what I want? Now that I found out what I like, how do I go about fitting that into my life right now? Now that I found out what I bring to the table, how do I go about showing myself appreciation? All of those different things. Then we have to begin to make that plan and make that route. This is the whole of who you are. This is learning you. This is taking your power back. Once you find the answer to those things and you begin to analyze who you are, what makes you tick, you know, what makes you happy, all of those things, that's when your confidence is going to start to flourish. What's not influenced by anybody else, because as long as you're living in a shadow, as long as you're living in some other image that somebody else has set up, you're going to find yourself not having that self-confidence as you should. Doesn't mean you won't have any, but you're not going to have it as you should. Because there are many different things that bring us happiness. But when you really like, no, this is me. This is what I'm going for. This is what I'm about. When I'm doing this, I'm happy. I mean, I get to do it all the time. Some people like different things. Some people like golf. Some people like hiking. Some people like just doing makeup. You know, some people like all types of different things. Some people like swimming. Whatever brings you that highest sense of happiness when you're doing it, that's what you want to begin to input in your life. You're not going to be able to do it 24/7. You may. Hey, I don't know. I'm not speaking against it. But you beginning to learn who you are, that's going to make you so much happier. And beginning that journey, that's going to open up that door for the self-confidence. That's going to open up the door for you to go into the new year, the new month, the new day, whatever, with some happiness, because you know that you're working on things that make you happy. So you have to get that mold, get that outline of what you like, that will cause our thoughts and our energy to start flowing in ways that it hasn't before. Because when you're operating as somebody else, you're operating from a stagnant energy. When you're operating from what they said you should do and where they said you should go and where they said you should work and what school they said you should go to, you're operating in a stagnant energy. You're not operating in something that is genuine to you. So you have the ability, no matter where you are, to change things, make situations better, even if it's small changes. As long as you know you're making those small changes for you and not for somebody else, that's going to elevate your self-confidence. I noticed just so many times in life, I did a podcast one time and I talked about this. Well, I was a guest on somebody else's. But we talked about, basically kind of a form of self-confidence, but basically authenticity and things of that nature, being who you are. But I mentioned how a lot of us we're just extras in our own life. The movie of your life, a lot of times we're just an extra. We're not the writer. We're not the director. We're not any of that. We're just like an extra on the sideline. And somebody was like, go here, go there, do this, do that. And we're like, okay. And we realize we're living our whole life based on that part we were given so long ago. And we're no longer directing our life. We did not write the script. We're just going along with emotions. And then we wake up one day and we wonder why we're unfulfilled. I don't want y'all to live like that, because I've been that person. I have definitely been that person, just kind of doing the things and walking in the straight and narrow, doing the things that I felt was acceptable, doing the good girl things. And there was nothing wrong with it, but it was just, I was doing it for, much of what I was doing was so these people could be happy with me and love me, until I began to take it into a different aspect and find ways to do similar things for myself, the parts of it that I loved doing, realizing how to do it for me, doing it in a way that made me happy, do it where I didn't feel like I was walking on eggshells every 5 seconds. And if somebody wasn't happy with me, you know, my life was ruined, you know. I had to learn how to do it for me and become my own writer, become my own director, not just an extra going where somebody else told me to go, when they told me to go there, all of those things. So we have to take back the script of our own life. We have to take it back. We have to begin to write it. We may need to write it over. We may need to adjust some scenes. We may need to throw out some footage, all this different stuff to get our lives back where we want it to be. And once we feel like we are in control, we are navigating to some degree, because it's going to start off small, because it's going to be over. It kind of seems overwhelming maybe. But once you start that process and get the ball rolling, then you're going to realize, I feel my strength coming. I feel my self-confidence coming. Once we begin to tend to ourselves, we have to be a gardener. We have to be a caretaker, if you will, of our own lives and our own heart. And that's internally. That's internally. Because a lot of us are caretakers in the home. We make sure the spouse is taken care of. We make sure the children are taken care of. The pets are taken care of. We make sure everybody around us is taken care of. But the internal us that nobody sees is suffocating, if not dying. And we have to learn ourselves and begin to become more active in caretaking what's on the inside of us. And that's feeding ourselves internally. That is just kind of pruning away those things that are not good for us. That's picking away those things that are not good for us. That's healing where we need to heal. Getting some therapy if we need to get some therapy. Going through healing if we need to go through healing in certain areas. Journaling, all those different things that we talk about. Meditation, prayer, whatever your way is. But we have to put that effort towards building ourselves up, caring for ourselves, and making sure that we get into a better place. That's going to make your confidence spring forward like you never thought it was, like you never thought was possible. So once you get started on that journey, and once you begin to step forward and make those small steps, it may not be huge steps at a time, but it'll be small steps. Internally, you're going to know, I'm doing this little thing for me. You know, I stopped, let's see, I stopped, you know, playing tennis, you know, with the group that I was playing tennis with every week, because I've never liked that, you know, and I started going out and playing volleyball instead. You know, you made a change for you. Doesn't matter how small or insignificant it may seem. You making changes for you in your life is going to give you more life. It's going to breathe fresh life and fresh energy into you. So if anything I've said here today was kind of like on point for you, something you want to discuss more, some aspect you want to discuss more, anything particularly that you like, let me know in the comments. Please make sure to like this video, and if you're not subscribed, I need you to do so. What are we waiting on? Come on. I'm going to be, of course, back with y'all talking more. I'm going to talk, I don't know when I'm going to get back into Shein, but we're definitely going to talk. We're definitely going to chat, and I'm definitely going to share my heart with you in whatever way that I can. I hope y'all are having a great day, morning, evening, night, wherever it is that you are in the world, and I thank you for coming to tune in with me. Have a great one. Bye-bye.